talk about what we began the program with, Taslima Nasrin. Monojit Mondal, are you happy that Taslima Nasrin is coming back?
In fact, I'll be happy for any such writers who are writing out of their own volition. We might criticize him or her, but they should have their place in a civilized society. I have nothing more to add. She had problems. She can be writing something which may not be liked by others. In fact, as an academic, I am completely against banning any writer. I am complete votary of free speech. As an academic, I can have political leanings. The party.
Sir, I'm
can
asking you a simple
views,
question. Professor Mondal, are you happy? Yes or no? Why are you talking like Mr. Soz?
About himself or husband. No, of course, I'm saying as an academic, I'm definitely happy. But this should have been done long time back.
As an academic, इसका क्या मतलब होता है? वो बोल रहे हैं, I'm not a Congress leader. I'm now speaking as a non-Congress leader. ये as an academic नहीं. Is Professor Mondal happy that Taslima Nasrin's exile is ending?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Second question.
I'm happy.
Who are the people who sent her into this forced exile? Will you condemn them?
Of course. Of course.
Let's take the names,
the
sir.
left people, the most
started with the left government and
the left people. I'm saying the CPIM had driven them out of the state and the country.
Okay, and the TMC had got nothing to do with it. Professor Mondal, the TMC had got nothing to do with it.
TMC has got nothing. Absolutely, TMC has got. I do not find any appeal from Ms. Nasrin that she is appealing to the TMC government and in consonance with the central government.
Why should she appeal? No, 1 minute. Do you wait for every victim to appeal? Why couldn't the TMC extend an invitation? Why couldn't you, reverse this injustice? What were you waiting for the BJP to come to power and invite Taslima Nasrin?
Mr. Pranesh, she had the security threats, or her own agencies had said. She came to India even after 2007.
I am talking about, I am talking about what your state government did. You are blaming the left. The problem was also with TMC. आ रहा हूं, विवेक श्रीवास्तव आ रहा हूं, आपके अपने कॉलीग आपको ब्लेम कर रहे हैं. अभी तो मैंने शुरू ही नहीं किया है.
Let us have a sensible debate, Mr. Pranesh. She had death threats. Not just in Bengal, but in India.
Yeah, so what did the government do? If someone has a death threat tomorrow, God forbid, if you have a death threat, and if if the government comes to know, will the government not give you adequate security? Will you not expect that?
Which government should give them this? Give her the security? The central government. She came to India as a Swedish citizen.
Sir, the union ministers who go to Bengal have, central paramilitary security with them, yet they are attacked in Bengal. What are you even talking about, Professor Mondal? Don't get me started. Samay kam hai, sir. I have to, go through the panel. 1 minute. Now, let me tell you, Taslima Nasrin has written to Mamta Banerjee, and I am quoting what she said. I wrote to Mamta Banerjee, but there was no response to that. To be honest, I had written an article for a popular Bengali daily, hoping that she will notice it and help my cause. Though it was a very positive article on Mamta, but nothing changed.
That was forwarded to the Home Ministry. She was supposed to be given the green signal by the Home Ministry.
Okay, forget it. You can't take a position. India. Obviously, political compulsions come in the way. Vivek Srivastav. The left claims to be the champions of free speech, tolerance, etc., etc. Everything, liberal under the sun. You do a match the following. Are you happy Taslima Nasrin is back? Why did you hound her?
No. We will still hound her. Who told you? We don't welcome her. I mean, I have one condition of supporting Taslima Nasrin. अगर आप उत्तर प्रदेश के स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य को भारतीय दर्शन शास्त्र के एनालिसिस के लिए भारत रत्न और ज्ञानपीठ देंगे तो मैं तस्लीमा नसरीन को एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए तैयार.
Taslima Nasrin is not asking for a commendation from the left. Taslima Nasrin is not asking for any award or a certificate. And Ashwini ji, हंसिए तो मत इस पे, serious topic है. And don't tell me you have a smiling face. Vivek Srivastav.
if the BJP government welcomes Taslima Nasrin, it should be after they give a Gyanpeeth to Swami Prasad Maurya.
नहीं स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य के अगेन नहीं एक मिनट एक बात बताइए, स्वामी प्रसाद मौर्य एग्जाइल में है क्या? उनको उत्तर प्रदेश से निकाल दिया है क्या?
नहीं सर, क्योंकि वो भारत के नागरिक हैं। तस्लीमा नसरीन हमारी नागरिक नहीं है सर,
तो
कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं।
तो आप तो सीए में बोलते थे जो हमारे नागरिक नहीं है, मुस्लिम्स मस्ट गेट शेल्टर हियर एंड रेफ्यूज, भूल गए विवेक श्रीवास्तव?
यस,
भूल गए आप?
बट नॉट मुस्लिम हेटर्स, यू सी।
मुस्लिम हेटर्स,
दे आर टू डिफरेंट थिंग्स। हिंदू हेटर्स डिफरेंट थिंग्स।
A Muslim is a Muslim hater. Vivek Srivastav's words of wisdom here. Vivek Srivastav is a Muslim lover. Taslima Nasrin is a Muslim hater. Tuhin Sinha, respond to this quickly.
Well, Pranesh, I can see that Vivek Srivastav is very disturbed today, but please understand the larger issue. Taslima Nasrin belongs to the shared Bengali civilizational and cultural continuum, which was divided politically at the time of partition, but could not be erased culturally. And we have a commitment towards living up to that civilizational value. So anybody who needs protection because he's being persecuted will get protection in India, whether it is Sheikh Hasina or whether it is Taslima Nasrin. Also, please understand that radicalization today is the biggest security threat across the globe. So if somebody has the courage to stand up as a crusader against radicalization, India, as a responsible global power, has reserves the right to protect her. But why are we so surprised? This is the same Congress party which did not want to protect Taslima Nasrin but went out of its way to protect Zakir Nair, who finally had to flee the country when we started investigating his activities. He had to flee the country in 2016, and there are still many Congress people, many like Vivek Srivastav in the opposition, who are itching to see Zakir Naik back in the country. This is the difference between our sensibilities and their sensibilities. They stand for radicalization. We stand committed to removing radicalization in all its forms and protecting the globe.
Professor Mondal, ab haath utha ke kya hoga, sir? I asked you 3-4 times, you could not take a position. Now, wait for your turn. There are many people who haven't spoken. Karan, the so-called free speech champs are all exposed today. Vivek Srivastav को देख लीजिए.
पहले मैं जरा मोनोजीत मंडल को एक स्टेटमेंट बता दूं तस्लिमा नसरीन की. What she said, Mamta is even harsher than the left towards me. 23rd January 2017. You rightly quoted that she tried to speak to Mamta. In fact, Mamta stopped the publication of her book Nirbhasan. Pardon me if I'm getting the pronunciation wrong. She ensured that this book wasn't released. So she was even worse than the left. That's her version. Now let me come to the great jewel of India, Mr. Vivek Srivastav and the CPIM. You know, Pranesh, when this book was released, when Taslima Nasrin's book, which created this controversy, Dvikhandito, it was firstly banned in West Bengal by Buddhadev Bhattacharya, the same Buddhadev Bhattacharya who, by the way, was pressing for MF Hussain to be protected. They passed a resolution and said, so what if MF Hussain can paint and depict Hindu goddesses in the worst possible light? So what? He is still our jewel and he should be brought back to India. In fact, the CPIM passed a resolution. Also, when the book, a book filled with hatred towards the Hindus and alternate history written by Wendy Doniger, it was again the CPIM that passed a resolution that the ban should be lifted. So what if Hindus are being criticized? Vivek Srivastav is fine. If Hindus are being criticized or Sanatan is being sought to be eradicated, he is absolutely fine with that. But for Taslima Nasrin, for the first time, a chief minister, a sitting chief minister orders this woman to leave the state. Can you imagine? And then they talk about the world being a global village. Let's erase the borders. This is their hypocrisies. This is what they did to a woman who was attacked by AIMIM MLAs. Hounded, and the Congress kept quiet about it. The same Congress, Ashwini ji, who in 2006 took up the matter with the Danish government that how dare you make cartoons of Prophet Muhammad. Wrongly done, I agree. But you took it up at an official diplomatic level. They went to the Shahi Imam and said, Aap shant ho jao, don't protest. We've taken it with the Danish government. So much sensitivity towards the others and so much hatred for the Hindus. This exposes this entire ecosystem today, Pranesh.
And I'll tell you why she was hounded out. Look at what's playing on your screen. Cancelled for these reasons, because she exposed the lynching of Hindus. She exposed how the radicals operate, how Hindus are persecuted by sheer hate and intolerance. Because of these reasons, Taslima Nasrin was cancelled, and you have people like Vivek Srivastava is not the jewel of India by any stretch of imagination, Karan. He may be the jewel of Beijing, I don't know, or any other country, not of Bharat. आप उनको सर्टिफिकेट आप करेक्ट कर दीजिए if you are planning to print one. Ashwini ji, the Congress party, you know, I must give it to you, फर्स्ट अमेंडमेंट भी आप ले आए थे, तो फ्री स्पीच पे तो आप लोगों का जबरदस्त रिकॉर्ड है, गोल्ड स्टैंडर्ड इन मेनी वेज. Are you happy that Taslima Nasrin is coming back?
Should I be happy? What do you want me to be, Pranesh?
Sir, if you think Nehru was a Democrat, if your party stands for free speech, liberty, you should be.
Yeah, our party stands for free speech. But free speech should not revolve around spreading the venom and creating divide in the society. And same Taslima Nasrin also quoted that because of this governments and current regime, why are Hindus trying to prove that they can become IS-like extremists? Will BJP endorse that?
यही मैं आपसे यही सुनना चाहता था. मैं बोलता तो आप मुझे गोदी मीडिया बोल देते. अश्विनी जी, अच्छा हुआ आपने बता दिया. अब आप देखिए, आपने जो कोट बोला ये बीजेपी के लिए तस्लीमा नसरीन ने कहा था, पर डिस्पाइट दिस द बीजेपी इज स्टैंडिंग विद तस्लीमा नसरीन.
बीजेपी के लिए नहीं कहा था, बीजेपी के लिए नहीं कहा था. She is trying to create a divide in the society, calling names for Hindus and Muslims, trying to create a fear.
I'll give you examples of, you know, instances, things that have been said to create divide. Now you tell me what the Congress party has done. Have you heard of Udyanidhi Stalin and what he said about Sanatan? Should I read it out to you? AIDS, dengue,
yes.
HIV, he compared Sanatan to that. Was he spreading harmony or hatred?
Good.
बोलिए सर.
Ask Tuhin, BJP is taking his support in delimitation bill.
वो छोड़ दीजिए सर.
Ask Tuhin, BJP
आप तो अलायंस में थे, वो तो जब होगा. You fear, no, your worst fears might come true. वो तो हो सकता है, वो तो that is a separate debate, हम वो भी करेंगे. अश्विनी जी आप उस पे रहिएगा. But आप बताइए, Congress was in an alliance with the DMK, and now you are, you know, giving lectures on peace, harmony, tolerance. Karan?
No, not just in alliance. On 4th September 2023, Ashwini ji, Priyank Kharge gave a bite to PTI, Press Trust of India, and said, of course, anything that doesn't preach equality like Sanatan is as good as a disease. So it's not just that they were in alliance, they doubled down on that, Pranesh. Priyank Kharge is on record saying
I
this.
just read
That
one
is the
sentence
Congress
because I have the whole list here. We've done so many debates. If I start reading all of them, show ही खत्म हो जाएगा. Atikur Rahman, you stand for tolerance.
Pranesh, the orthodox and the hardline elements from my community and even in Bangladesh, they were hard with Taslima. She has all the right to convey what she thinks. I have only the limitation that when she misquotes the Quran and she quotes the Quran out of context, she should not do that. I will limit my argument only to that thing, that she misquotes the Quran. She tries to following the trap of the West and malign Islam and the Quran. That's my limited point. Otherwise,
No, Atikur Rahman, on this so-called limited point, Atikur Rahman, do you believe that if what you're saying is true and if it indeed happened, should she be getting death threats? Is that the punishment?
Rather, I will invite her for a dialogue, but she should have all the chance to write.
No, you can only invite, you can only invite Professor Saab, you can only invite Taslima Nasrin if you take permission from the great liberal here, Vivek Srivastava. He is the great wall of liberty.
Blasphemy is not there in Islam, Pranesh. There is no blasphemy. We cannot restrict people to convey what they think of Islam or the Prophet of Islam.
What are you saying,
We are
sir?
here-
Atikur
we are-
Rahman.
I am here to remove the cobwebs from her mind.
Okay, so Mr. Rahman, then I want you to walk the talk. If you are ready to welcome Taslima Nasrin for a dialogue, what do you think of these people? Monojit Mondal? Or forget Professor Mondal because he says he is happy. I have taken your name off, Professor Mondal, don't get agitated. Vivek Srivastava, Ashwini Mishra. They are anti-Taslima. What would you tell them?
No, they are having their own, understanding of the things. But I will request them too that the Muslim community should convey that Islam is tolerance. Prophet Muhammad never even, took any
Vivek
rape
Srivastava,
against.
between Udyanidhi Stalin and Taslima Nasrin, who would you pick if you had to pick a poster boy of hate and bigotry?
Obviously तस्लीमा नसरीन.
Okay.
Obviously उदयनिधि स्टालिन तो भाई बहुत अच्छे आदमी हैं. उनके ऊपर आप क्यों प्रश्न चिन्ह उठा रहे हैं? He's a great man. He's a good guy. Why do you hate him so much? I think you hate him. You should not hate him. Don't hate him.
Congress party loves Udyanidhi Stalin.
You want to go to Sweden?
No.
और
Congress
आपको
party
Bangladesh
loves
में
Udyanidhi Stalin.
No. You see, they are two different parties. Sometimes they have a tie-up. Sometimes the tie-up may not be there for some time. Then again there will be a tie-up. It's electoral understandings. जैसे आपका TDP, जैसे आपका JDU और BJP.
तो नहीं इनमें से किसने कहा है एंटी रिलीजन रिमार्क्स किसने, आप बता दीजिए. लेट्स टेक पोजीशंस. आप विवेक श्रीवास्तव ये सोच क्या थे हर डिबेट में मुझे एक्सपोज करना है अपने आप को?
अरे क्या एक्सपोज करना है सर? आप हल्ला मचा.
आप तो नहीं, हल्ला तो मैं मचाऊंगा, हल्ला मैं मचाऊंगा और आपकी हिपोक्रेसी बाहर लाऊंगा, क्योंकि आप अपने आप को चैंपियन मानते हैं ना, सेक्युलरिज्म, फ्री स्पीच, लिबर्टी, दिस दैट दी अदर. और आपको उदयनिधि ग्रेट लग रहे हैं फॉर हिज एंटी सनातन कमेंट्स, एंड तस्लीमा नसरीन इज अ हेट मॉन्गर. तो इन सिना
Okay, Vivek is clearly rattled today, so let me not go where he's, let me not go to him. My point is very simple. In the last 22 years, Taslima Nasrin has been in India, barring a period of 6 months in 2008 when she had to go because UPA could not provide a protection. But imagine, even after coming back, it took her 18 years to come back to the city which she has considered her home. She has said so many times that I consider Kolkata my home. And like I said, you are a Bengali. Any Bengali, is aware of the civilizational connect between Bengal and Bangladesh. If she is fighting against radicalization, we need to stand by her. But people like Vivek Srivastava have only weakened our fight against radical forces. And of course, the less you talk about Congress party, the better. Every day, Imran Masood makes some statement which is pro-radical, which is pro-terrorist. So that is the reality
Karan,
of
what
Congress
does it
party
tell you
today.
about, the ecosystem that, talks of tolerance, etc.?
No. Pranesh, their poster boy for years has been Zakir Naik. I remember those scenes where Digvijay Singh and all these people used to line up and say that he's a great messiah of peace. Later on, Bangladesh, a terror incident happened in Bangladesh where the chief inspiration was Zakir Naik. I want to know from Atikur Rahman. He said she misquotes the Quran. Does Zakir Naik quote the Quran correctly, sir? And he's, by the way, given 50 lakhs to the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. Zakir Naik. Later on, it was found that, he had siphoned off money, properties, layers and layers, and the Congress was busy backing him, giving him 24/7 coverage on television. Imagine this hate was
patronage money, Karan, patronage money.
Congress rule.
That was
And
a protection,
Vivek here,
patronage, who knows?
Absolutely.
I just hope that, on the 1st of August, or whenever this event takes place, I want to see Professor Mondal at that event, cheering Taslima Nasrin, and Vivek Srivastava crying at Jantar Mantar, and Ashwini Mishra can decide what he wants to do when Taslima Nasrin, Vivek Srivastava हाँ भी बोल रहे हैं, that he will be shedding tears. But let's leave it at this. We have another story to tell. I thank you for joining us. Viewers, let's move on now. And this is a disturbing story. And let me begin by saying that what should it take to get justice? It's a simple question, but it does not have a clear answer. And here's a small story for you. A woman was confined in a room. Her salwar was pulled at. The details are graphic, so pardon me, her breasts were grabbed. The case reached the court. The court looked at all of this and said, and I'm quoting, "At best, the allegations disclose an act intended to outrage the modesty of the victim," unquote. In other words, the court said it does not amount to attempted rape. Let that sink in, viewers. But here is the part that should terrify you even more. This is not the first time. Earlier this year, the Allahabad High Court said something almost identical. A minor girl, her pajama string pulled, her breast grabbed, her body dragged. And the court said not attempt to rape. The Supreme Court had to step in and set that order aside. It ordered guidelines, asked for sensitivity. It said this cannot happen again. But it has happened again, viewers. What do we do? I want you to really think about this. If a woman's body can be grabbed, her clothes can be torn, pulled at, she can be physically overpowered, and a court of law looks at this and says this is not serious enough, then what should we make of this? What does a woman have to go through before the law takes her seriously? Let me introduce the panel. Mr. Sanjay Hegde, Senior Advocate, Karuna Nandi, Senior Advocate, Abha Singh, also on the show. Mr. Hegde, good evening. Sir, what does it tell us about this mindset? How can something like this even come through?
Well, criminal law turns on the facts of each case. There can be a judgment by a trial court, a different judgment by the High Court, and a different judgment by the Supreme Court. Now, the point here is that the man undressed himself, thereafter he put his hands on her breast, attempted to take off her salwar, etc., etc., etc. So very clearly, the sequence of events was there. It was attempted rape. However, I don't know what happened as in the Patna High Court. I believe that he was convicted by the trial court. The Patna High Court may possibly have taken the view that this was a 2008 incident before the amendment to the IPC, which tightened the law of rape further.
No, Mr. Hegde, I get that technicality, but you see, this is about that. I get what you're saying. But messages like these, sir, do not stay inside the courtroom. They travel, they reach, all parts of the country. Imagine people who are, perverts who are watching this, and when they think of this, they will be emboldened that it's okay to grab a woman's breast and they will get away with a lesser punishment. Karuna Nandi, what do you think of this?
I think it's a travesty. And the reason I think it's a travesty because the Allahabad judgment of the Supreme Court was there. It was passed only in February. So all the Patna High Court had to do, as the Supreme Court said today in some dismay, was do a little bit of research, right? When the Allahabad High Court judgment was quite clear that a woman's, female's salwar, when it's taken out, then the mens rea, the bad intent, the malintent of the accused converts to a following through in terms of action. So it moves from preparation to attempt. When that judgment on fairly similar facts was decided by the Supreme Court, then there's no question of each level correcting itself. Then the Patna High Court just failed to do the research, which is what the Chief Justice was saying. The problem today is that you have people in positions of power, whether it is in government, whether it is in parliament and they're making laws, but most significantly here, whether it is on the bench even. And they are deciding cases not just contrary to constitutionality, which is a more abstract thing, but contrary to Supreme Court judgments that have already been passed in very similar facts. We have a real problem here.
Ms. Abha
So the
Singh,
good thing is that the Supreme Court has taken so much.
you've heard Mr. Hegde, Ms. Nandi, your take on this?
You know, I am appalled. In fact, it's shocking that after Allahabad High Court, Supreme Court setting it right, now a judge, a lawyer has to go to Supreme Court and tell that this is what Patna High Court has given. And you change it from 354, you say no, it is 354, it is molestation, not rape. On what ground, when a lower court, a trial court has convicted him for rape, so attempt to rape? In fact, it gives such a wrong message, Pranay. You are so right. In fact, you see that conviction in rape cases is barely 28%, which shows that the cops don't do their homework well. They don't collect the evidences. They don't put up a proper case. And after that, if the court also comes up with such a bizarre comment, I think where is women's safety? No wonder we have the maximum crime in the world. Women are unsafe. It's difficult to step out. And in fact, when the Supreme Court says that they have not done their research, I would like Supreme Court to pass strictures against Patna High Court, because every time somebody is not going to bring it to the knowledge of the Supreme Court. In Allahabad High Court, they took suo motu cognizance, but in the Patna High Court, one of the advocates had to go to the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court, the apex court, is busy. It doesn't know what High Court is commenting at what time. And now it says that they need to be given training. They need to be made sensitive, because if you're going to say like this, that touching
Mr.
of breast,
you know, I want to give you the last word, sir, and this is out of sheer curiosity. And correct me if I am wrong in asking you this, that contempt is invoked so easily against the court. Isn't this a contempt of, you know, justice itself?
No, a judicial act cannot be contempt. I mean, that's the law.
No, in the larger scheme of things, sir. I get that. But what is the messaging here? Should the courts not be mindful of the message?
Be mindful. Courts should be mindful, especially in 2026, after so much law has changed. You always have to be up to date with the law. But let me just give you an illustration. If I throw a bullet at you without firing it from a gun, is it attempt to murder? There are all these nuances of criminal law which turn on the facts of this case. Now, if I had been sitting in that judge's position, I would have said it was an attempt primarily because he had disrobed himself already. So he was obviously attempting rape. But without, if he had been fully clothed and it had been a public place, not a closed place, and he had put a hand in a wrong place, then it would have been 354 and not attempt to rape.
Well, I think Ms. Nandi wants to say something. We don't have time, Ms. Nandi. I can give you 10 seconds at best.
There are specific facts here. There's a slew of precedent, and there is no excuse for this judgment today. Women should not be suffering through this. The Supreme Court has taken a correct and vigorous approach to this.
Let's leave it at that. Let's hope that, you know, the courts are more sensitive to what women go through and that justice is really seen to be done. I thank all of you, Mr. Hegde, Ava Singh, Karuna Nandi, for joining us. The news are with Navita Kumar on the other side.